I was not expecting to make this video. When I watched Encanto for the first time, I knew it was going to be good, but nothing could have prepared me for how good it was. It's honestly funny that I said I wasn't going to cover Disney stuff at the start of this channel, yet here I am making my second video about that very company. Well, forget the copyright police. Encanto's one of my favorite animated films, and a lot of what makes it that way falls down to, well, the entire cast, but especially Isabela. Which is another funny thing, because she's designed for the audience to hate her.
You sorry
at first.
Why didn't you say so?
Isabela is a very sympathetic character when we get to know her, but she's a major jerk to Mirabel from minute one. We're introduced to her as graceful, perfect in every way, a golden child, and the moment she gets a private talk with Mirabel, she puts her down, saying she's getting in the way by trying too hard. Isabela makes it plain that she thinks her life and the lives of the whole family would be better if Mirabel just stayed unseen and out of the way. She is very hateable throughout most of the film. And yet, if we look at her conversation with Mirabel before her song, Isabela doesn't really focus on herself. Luisa can't lift an empanada. Mariano's nose looks like a smashed papaya. Everything was perfect. Abuela was happy. The family was happy. She never says that she was happy. From a certain perspective, Isabela has a lower opinion of herself than even Mirabel, and suffers from very similar hang-ups to Luisa's surface pressure. Whenever Isabela is truly active in the first hour or so, it's to brighten up other people's days, or to facilitate her marriage to Mariano, which we later learn isn't even something she wants. She fixes up some flower decorations in the beginning, and when people praise her, she says, "Please don't clap, it was nothing." This can be taken one of two ways. Either we take her tone by its word, and she's putting on a show for the crowd, or we take the context of a second viewing and her word choice as literal. Please don't clap. It was nothing. Her tone could also be a result of us viewing her from Mirabel's perspective. There's an argument to be made about whether our protagonist's viewpoint colors a film as much as it would a book, and I could spend at least an hour discussing that argument. Maybe I should actually. Not now, but later, in another video. The point is that text as written, Isabela is exceedingly generous throughout all her dealings, to an extreme fault. She almost locks herself into a relationship she doesn't want, where her husband intends to impregnate her 5 times. If you don't want that life becomes a prison, and I could see a darker future where Isabela becomes an abusive parent or even abandons her children. It's also heartwarming in a way that Isabela is willing to say mean or hurtful things to her sister, because it means that Mirabel is the one person she feels she doesn't have to be perfect around. She can get angry and she can express it, only in whispers and rolled eyes, but she can still do it and not disappoint the family. Which is messed up, but it's also a kind of solace to her. Emotions don't just go away if you ignore them. You need an outlet, something or often someone to whom you can express them. Mirabel was always that outlet for Isabela, even when she didn't realize it, which is the only reason Isabela can get angry enough with her for some actual honest conversation to happen between them. That honest conversation saves Isabela from a horrible fate, and in a way, it's all thanks to Mirabel's intervention. What's fascinating to me during the talk itself is that Isabela has been able to lie to her family and the town so effectively that she believes the lie, believes that she wants to be the perfect child, that she wants to be Mariano's wife. She tells Mirabel to apologize for ruining her life, but by that point, she hasn't specified anything about herself that Mirabel's actions harmed or threatened. In the words of Steven Universe,
She doesn't want to think about herself. What?
Until Mirabel calls Isabela selfish. The woman who was willing to sacrifice her entire life to please her grandmother and her family and a man she doesn't even love is being called selfish, and told that some of us have bigger things to worry about. So for the first time, probably ever, Isabela lets go. She flies off and participates in a full-blown argument with Mirabel in which we hear the truth. She's stuck being perfect. She doesn't want the marriage. She was doing it for the family. And then the cactus pops up. I'm gonna move away from the perfectionism stuff for a bit and look at this scene through the lens of self-discovery. Isabela has learned her entire life how to make beautiful, symmetrical flowers and helpful trees, and how to live as the shining example of feminine beauty. She's become a master of this craft. Look at the way everyone in town marvels at her power, the reverence Mariano looks at her with. She truly is perfect in every way. And this is all presented as something only she can do. She's the only one who can make all this beautiful scenery. She's the only one who can be that shining example. That doesn't mean it's what she wants, but it puts extra pressure on her to continue doing it. People need her to be perfect so they can have something to aspire to, and so the family can have a better reputation. If we treat this as a mundanity, it's a little like becoming a pharmacist because it'll make you decent money, you're good at chemistry, and you can't think of anything else to do with your life. But then this cactus shows up. Suddenly, Isabela discovers something she didn't know she could make, and a new world of possibility is opened to her. The following song is titled, "What Else Can I Do?" because that's the obvious question that comes up when you discover you have a knack for something you never considered. Maybe someone tells you that you do a good ad read, or tells you you're a competent writer, or a video editor, or a camera worker, and you believe them. That's an equivalent to what Isabela's experiencing here, only in her case it's more objective. There's no opportunity to disbelieve because the evidence is right in front of her. When I started this channel, I was going to be happy with 100 views. I wouldn't have pursued it if those were the numbers consistently, but I would have been proud that I tried. I'm currently sitting at 300,000 views and 2,000 subs. Those sound like baby numbers to an average consumer, but all I can imagine is a crowd of thousands of people sitting in an auditorium, watching and listening to me talk about an animated artwork. And a lot of them like it. That's what this cactus is to me. It's an objective representation of the undeniable fact that this is something Isabela can do. Something I can do. When something like that happens, what else can I do is the only response one can reasonably be expected to give. She's felt so trapped by others' expectations of what she was capable of that she never stopped to consider what other avenues may lie in wait. She spends the whole song that follows exploring those avenues, both accepting that she has been overburdened by her perfectionism and that she can be more than perfect. All the plants she crafts from then on are pesky or dangerous to some extent. Jacarandas are beautiful, but not when they're in a hurricane. Figs and vines are good to have in a jungle, but troublesome in a garden. One of her sundews tries to eat Mirabel. But all of these plants have beauty to them, just not what people expect. They have flaws, and those flaws make them interesting and unique. And in the process of making them, Isabela discovers that's what she wants to be like too. She's found a new art, and through it, a new way of life that excites her and pushes her to be better, not to everyone else, but to herself. And it's important that Mirabel supports her in this. She loves these new plants, loves her sister's passion and creativity, which gives Isabela the confidence to follow through and bring her creations outside of her room into the public eye. Her outfit changes as a result of this new art she's found, a change in her design acting as a metaphor for the change in her perspective and life. This change doesn't diminish after her powers are gone either. Rather than fear that she's worthless, she just plants cacti and the things like them the way any other person would and seems just as happy as she was before. Of course, she's delighted when she gets her powers back and immediately decorates herself and the new casita in her own new way. Isabela will see her passion through, with or without her gift. Also, this is my favorite redesign of her outfit, and the fact that they only show it in the last few seconds of the film makes me so mad. I think anyone who's made a significant career change or chosen to dabble in something entirely different from their day job can identify with Isabela's will to forge through any obstacle to make that change work. I doubt I'm the only one who saw myself in her the moment that cactus burst into being. I can still feel myself mouthing the words. It's not symmetrical or perfect, but it's beautiful. And it's mine. What else can I do?
Looking like a stormy day, don't think that'll go away. So under my roof I'll stay, and that's alright. I'll just play my
Thank you for watching. This video is much shorter than the ones I usually make, but I had to narrow my focus or I'd be discussing every character in the film, and I've got too many big projects already. If you want to see those projects, you can hit the subscribe button and the dingy thingy next to it so you know when I upload new videos. I've also got a Twitter and Twitch account you can follow if you are looking for more updates or streams, respectively. If you want to like or dislike this video to let me know how you feel about it, I'd appreciate that as well. Got a more complex opinion than good or bad? Leave a comment telling me how you felt. I can confidently say I read all my comments for the time being, and there are huge motivating factor in my work, so I'd love to hear from you. Lastly, if you like this video enough to pay me to make more, you can do that on my Patreon. Links to everything in the description below. Take it easy. I'll see you folks later. Peace.